across the Eastern Conference in the NBA this past weekend. The Pistons were the only home team to lose. They fell to the 8-seed Magic 112-101 yesterday. Monica, was that a bad game or a bad sign for Detroit?
I think it's a bad sign, Greeny, only because when you dig into this one a little bit, I actually think this is a great matchup in terms of two teams that stylistically are similar. Physical, want to defend, and are comfortable if a game has a little bit of offense.
Meanwhile, Vince, you are my Detroit guy, so what up, though?
What up, though, Greeny?
I worked with Jalen for a long time.
Yes.
Well, how concerned should you be right now if you're the fan of the Pistons?
Concerned but not alarmed. They'll play game 2 on Wednesday. They will discover that, hey, Jalen Duren is an all-star. We do have other weapons that we can deploy here, and we're supposed to be the most physical defense in the league. They did not make Orlando feel uncomfortable at all yesterday.
The Celtics made the Sixers very uncomfortable.
Oh, boy.
And an absolute whitewash in game 1 of that series. Vince, did Jason Tatum and the Celtics put everybody on notice yesterday?
If you weren't on notice, I'm trying to figure out where you were. This team looks ready. Jason Tatum looks like he's making the game easy. That is the scary part for the Celtics.
Monica.
Yeah, in the post-game interview with our George Sedano, Jason Tatum talked about the ramp-up in the 16 games. If this turns into a series in which he could continue his ramp-up and just get better, oh boy, the notice level might go up.
Well, and that brings us then to the team that they might get in the next round, and that would be the Knicks, who had a good performance. I thought a very good performance Saturday evening at home in game 1 against Atlanta. The formula I thought was there. It was Jalen Brunson early. It was Karl Anthony Towns late. It was their increased depth in between. Monica, you know this team better than anybody. What did you see from them in game 1?
I loved the balance of the performance. You are absolutely right in terms of your all-stars giving you bookend signature moments in the first and in the fourth quarter. But in the mix of that, you've got a very efficient OG Anunoby. You got Josh Hart, who pulled up with 14 rebounds in that one, and Mikal Bridges, who was steady, and you're getting your bench guys into rhythm as well. It's good to see Deuce McBride back in the fold healthy. That was the formula to me. Karl Anthony Towns is the single figure that the Hawks do not have an answer for. They went to Hack-a-Mitch. I will see if that holds as the series continues, but even Mitchell Robinson on the glass is a problem.
Well, Quinn Snyder said before the game when I asked him about Karl Towns, he said, look, you got to make calculations on this. When OG Anunoby scores 20 or more, the Knicks are 24-3. When Karl Towns does it, they're 26-15. So basically, he's taking a gamble on the Knicks' second-best player, but most important player. The undersold thing for me was that Nickeil Alexander-Walker averaged 21 a game, had 17, did not look comfortable at all. I was more impressed with the Knicks defensively in the second half more than I was anything else.
Well, you were talking last week with us here about how Karl Anthony Towns was the most important piece of the puzzle for the Knicks. Did you consider what we saw from them on Saturday night, what we saw from him on Saturday night? Was that the formula?
Absolutely. He's the most important player in the NBA as far as not a star player, a number 1 option. He's that critical to the Knicks' success when you consider the stakes and everything that's on the Knicks right now. And when you look at inside-outside game, he was masterful.
McNutt, we had Vince and Shump was here all week long, and he was making that point over and over, that this is about Karl Anthony. You know what you're going to get from Jalen Brunson. Basically, he seems like money in the bank. And the Knicks are a team, look, and I love Tibbs, but they are a team that plays more guys now, and they are going to get more contributions from others. But someone else has to be there when it's time to win the game, and that someone has to be Karl Anthony Towns.
We all agree. I mean, we can kumbaya on that one, and I think Karl Anthony Towns understands that as well. The one thing that I am watching is what it looks like. Like, he shot the 3-ball decently in game 1. I love when he's getting into the paint. He admitted post-game that he had to work through the rust of that first half. But if he is aggressive and can stay out of foul trouble, because the other thing that I think goes unheralded about Karl Anthony Towns' game is he's a very willing passer. And when he's holding the ball at the top of the key, extended like this, and dishing on back cuts that energize the garden, getting OG Anunoby, Bridges, and Hart going, it's a thing of beauty.
You need to keep your bigs involved. Like, bigs need to touch the ball just psychologically. If you want them to defend, they got to touch the ball. And Karl, even though he's a good post player, you don't want to steady feed him like that all the time. You want to keep the spacing there. They've been walking this balance all season long, Greeny. He's been efficient, but it hasn't always looked fluid. Yeah. And with Jalen Brunson and the amount of shots that he takes, they're finding a balance between those two guys.
And the thing about it, though, this matchup will not demand anyone being like, go, post him up. Like, that's not exactly how Onyeka Okongwu defends either. And so he has advantages when he is facing up, which is his preferred attack.
And what I've said to everybody is the Knicks are going to be different in these playoffs because The thing about Tom Thibodeau teams is that they play games in November like it's the playoffs. The Knicks, they didn't have another gear to go to. They have another gear to go to now. I think they looked very good on Saturday night. They have game 2 tonight. So let's do Hitting the Mark, which is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. And let's do OG Anunoby in that game. Monica, let's talk about one of the props you like, and it is about this Knicks star.
Yeah, so it's OG Anunoby totaling 25 in points, rebounds, and assists. He had 19 in game 1, and I hear you, Quinn Snyder, on your philosophy. But if I combine all of those things, I think he gets to 25 or better. He's playing good ball here at home.
Minnesota, Denver tonight as well. Vince, what do you like in Anthony Edwards?
Anthony Edwards was smiling on the sideline on the bench at the end of the game. He knew something that we don't know. I think he's going to have a big game in game 2 tonight. As long as he looks healthy, as long as that runner's knee that he has, holds up, I think he's going to do just fine. He might get 30+ tonight.
So the over is 25, and Vince likes it. Let me give you one more. On the other side of that matchup, Nikola Jokic, 30 points. You like the over?
I like the over because he has no problems with Rudy Gobert guarding him or Julius Randle guarding him. And I think these games call for it. When you're trying to go up 2-0, you want to send a message to the other team. You have to win 4 out of 5 games if you win game 2. I think Jokic is going to put his stamp on tonight.
Boy, did he look good in game 1. So to recap, we're going over on Anunoby with the total on points, rebounds, and assists. Over on Anthony Edwards, 25 points, and over on Jokic, 30. If you like those picks, they're a parlay on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Fire Vince Goodwill, was this a bad game or a bad sign for Detroit?
Bad game, but it can get worse. I think when you look at Cade Cunningham scoring 39, he looked like himself. Nobody else did. The question that we had was, what happens when you have to play playoff defense in the playoffs when that's the way you play in the regular season? They didn't even bring their regular season defense to the game.
Right.
So that's why I'm concerned.
So what he says, I'm not sure what he says. Monica,
Right.
go.
Let me help you, friend. A bad game that can turn into worse is a bad sign,
That's
right?
right.
Like this, when I look at this matchup in particular, the things that Detroit have hung their hat on in terms of their defense and their physicality, check, let's go in terms of this Orlando Magic squad, who, mind you, Greeny, has maybe not been as healthy as they would like, but they look as good as they could right now.
But the thing is, I will say about Detroit. They haven't played a meaningful game in 2 weeks. That's rust and that's rhythm. And when you are a team that defends itself on physicality and you haven't played a meaningful game, I'll give them this. But they haven't won a playoff game at home since May 26, 2008, game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Celtics.
Yeah, that's
18 years ago. All right, I'm not sure how old Victor Wembanyama was then. He made his playoff debut last night. We opened the show with highlights. He had 35 points, 5 of 6 from 3. Monica, we touched on it just so briefly at the beginning. What do we say about this?
Good luck to the Portland Trailblazers.
Yeah.
I think his poise in this one, the variety of ways in which he was able to attack this defense. And here's the thing, Greeny, he only had 5 rebounds, which is nothing to sneeze at, but we know he's capable of double-doubles in his sleep. Now, to me, and I continue to say, when he starts to really start getting dimey and dishing the ball when those double teams are coming, then, I mean, we're already on lookout. But I think that's maybe the only piece of his game that I'm looking to see evolve.
I am fascinated by how quick he processes information. They tried physicality with him early in the game. That lasted for maybe 3.5 minutes, and then he figured it out. I'll just take it end to end, and you won't be able to catch me. You won't be able to foul me. So the fact that he processes information that it usually takes players a year to do, he's doing it in 12 minutes of real time. Good luck to whoever they're playing next.
Well, that would be Denver or Minnesota. The winner of this series gets the winner of the Timberwolves and Nuggets. Denver is up 1-0 in that series. Boston is up 1-0 easily in their series. Jason Tatum, in his return to the playoffs, 25 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. This game was over about 30 seconds after it tipped off yesterday.
Greeny.
I enjoyed listening to Charles Barkley talk about how awful it was. I mean, Monica, did Boston put everybody on notice?
I don't think they put anyone on notice that they shouldn't have already been on, but what I will say, especially when you look back at last year, the Orlando Magic, the physicality of last year's series in the first round for them, then going to the second round. If this series turns up into basically a warm-up run, a part of the ramp-up for Jason Tatum, and he can elevate heading into the next series, then perhaps there is another level of notice for us to get to.
The thing with Tatum that struck me, Monica, was that how easy the game came to him. When you first saw him come back, it looked like he was trying to find his rhythm.